Welcome back. Honorable Deputy Speakers, Majority Leader, Minority Leader, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good afternoon to you all. Allow me to extend a warm welcome to each and everyone. After a short respite from our plenary duties, we hope everybody had a good rest and a renewed relationship with our family, friends, and constituents. As we embark on the remaining session days of the second regular session of the 19th Congress, allow me first to mention, for the record, that the House has successfully passed on third and final reading all 20 LEDAC priority measures that are targeted for passage by June 2024. A 100% completion rate. Congratulations. That is all because of your hard work, your industry, your attendance, and your participation. You've done a great job. National security plus economic development equals improved living conditions for Filipinos. With this in mind, we must now direct our legislative focus on the most pressing needs that our countrymen face at the moment, strengthening national security and enhancing economic development. We recognize that peace is the cornerstone of prosperity. Hence, we need to enact laws that fortify our national defense and enhance our international security policy. As such, these initiatives are critical in maintaining sovereignty and stability and enabling our nation to pursue developmental goals without the shadow of an external threat. Our historical trilateral meeting was all about our national security. Under the leadership of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., we have taken significant steps to rejuvenate and deepen our international relationships. Together with some of our honorable members, we were privileged to witness the historical trilateral meeting among President Marcos Jr., United States President Joe Biden, and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. This meeting underscored our strategic role in regional politics and security. This event followed the historical address by His Excellency Fumio Kishida, Prime Minister of Japan, to our House of Representatives last November, an event that in itself marked a milestone in our diplomatic engagement. We congratulate President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. for the monumental diplomatic victory, particularly in the context of the West Philippine Sea. This historic meeting signifies a strong and united commitment that the United States and Japan and the Philippines that will uphold the principles of international law and ensure the freedom of navigation and overflight in the Indo-Pacific region, which are vital in ensuring peace, stability, and prosperity. Also paved the way for the enhanced cooperation in addressing regional challenges, particularly in promoting maritime security and safeguarding territorial integrity. It highlights the importance of respecting the sovereign rights of the states within the exclusive economic zones, consistent with the international law as reflected in the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Seas, otherwise known as the UNCLOS. May I also hasten to add that coinciding with the momentous trilateral summit, we conducted extensive deliberations with a number of our fellow, American legislators on Capitol Hill. And during the reception for the members of the U.S.-Philippines Friendship Caucus at the Waldorf Astoria in Washington, D.C., we stress the importance of strengthening defense and economic cooperation between the Philippines and the United States. Nilinaw namin sa kanila ang pake ng Pilipinas sa kanilang bansa, hindi lamang sa pagtibayin ang security partnership ng Pilipinas at the United States. Kailangan din natin palakasin ang economic partnerships ng dalawang bansa para mapapabuti ang kalagayan ng ating mga mamayan. Through our persistent lobbying, it is worthy to mention that the Philippines was included as part of the beneficiaries of the $8.1 billion aid package approved by the United States Congress for its allies in the Indo-Pacific. Following our series of meetings with United States lawmakers, we sought the expansion of the joint military exercises in the Philippines, appealed for an increased United States foreign military financing, and welcomed the Philippines Enhanced Resiliency Act of 2024, otherwise known as the PERA Bill, sponsored by Senator Bill Haggerty of Tennessee. We expressed our sincere appreciation to the members of the United States Congress for the bipartisan support on this groundbreaking measure, which is crucially beneficial for Filipinos amid escalating tensions in the West Philippine Sea. We also expressed our gratitude to Representative Darrell Issa of California, who introduced the amendment to the bill, encouraging the State Department to allocate $500 million in foreign military financing to the Philippines. In the volatile, uncertain, and complex environment of today, we must opt for collaborative efforts to address our common problems more swiftly and effectively. This philosophy of proactive engagement and cooperation is at the heart of our approach in the House of Representatives. It aligns with the foreign policy direction set by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. that the Philippines is a friend to all and an enemy to none. By strengthening peace and security, we can create an environment conducive to economic activities and development initiatives. These in turn contribute to further stabilizing our nation by reducing poverty, creating jobs, and improving living standards, which in turn diminishes the likelihood of social unrest. This is fundamental to the sustainable development and is a cornerstone of our legislative agenda. Our economic development, among the major benefits the Philippines would derive from the trilateral summit and improve the lives of our people, include the following: the launching of the Luzon Economic Corridor, which will support connectivity between Subic, Clark, Manila, and Batangas by accelerating coordinated investments in high-impact infrastructure projects, including rail, ports modernization, clean energy and semiconductor supply chains and deployments, agribusiness, and civilian port upgrades at the Subic Bay. The United States and Japan pledged to provide at least $8 million for Open Radio Access Network field trials and the Asia Open RAN Academy based in Manila to enable future commercial development and an open, interoperable, secure, reliable, and trusted information communications technologies ecosystem in the Philippines. Through the CHIPS and Science Act, International Technology, Security, and Innovation Fund, the United States and the Philippines will coordinate efforts to develop and expand the Philippine semiconductor workforce to strengthen the global supply chain. Expanded partnerships on safe and secure nuclear capacity building, including trilateral cooperation on civilian nuclear workforce development to advance the Philippines' civil nuclear energy program. Expanded bilateral cooperation on the deployment of clean energy technologies, including renewable energy projects such as solar and wind, to support energy requirements in the Philippines and help ensure a just energy transition. At least $100 billion in investments from the United States and Japan may come to the Philippines in 5 to 10 years as a result of the historical Trilateral Summit. Likewise, our other areas of cooperation are in the pipeline, such as a greater maritime domain awareness and Coast Guard cooperation, sustainable critical infrastructure, semiconductor supply, chain resilience, digital transformation, and energy security through harnessing renewable energy. Vis-a-vis the improved living conditions for Filipinos, during this 19th Congress, we have put in place significant reforms that have reshaped the economic and social landscape of the Philippines. We enacted pivotal tax reforms designed to invigorate our economy by simplifying the tax code, encouraging investment, and ensuring a fairer system for all. These measures have laid the groundwork for a more robust economic framework, attracting foreign investments and stimulating local entrepreneurship. Our commitment to infrastructural development is exemplified by the continuation of the Build, Build, Build program, now through the Build Better More. This ambitious initiative has not only improved connectivity across our archipelago, but also generated tens of thousands of jobs, bolstering our economy and enhancing the daily lives of our citizens. A recent Octa research survey showed a notable decrease in self-rated poverty and hunger among Filipino families, a decrease of 3% in both the number of families who consider themselves poor, from 45% in the fourth quarter of 2023 to 42% during the first quarter of 2024, and the self-rated hunger from 14% to 11% during that same period. These figures represent a decline of approximately 800,000 families in both categories, a clear indication that our economic measures are effectively reaching and improving the lives of our people. We attribute this sharp decline to the anti-poverty programs of the administration of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., and these include the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino Program, 4Ps, the DSWD's assistance to individuals in crisis situation, the DOLE's Tulong Panghanap Buhay sa Ating Disadvantaged, displaced workers, and other programs such as the free college education, free health insurance, and the grant of direct cash subsidies. The Ayuda para sa Kapos ang Kita program under the DSWD, which we included in the 2024 national budget, was envisioned to benefit 12 million poor and low-income families, or a total of 48 million Filipinos, by receiving a one-time financial grant of 5,000 pesos. Binigyan nating buhay dito sa Kongreso ang lahat ng programang ito sa pamamagitan ng paglalaan ng karampatang budget. Tugon ito sa hamon ng Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. na tumulong lahat para labanan ang kagutuman at mapangat ang kabuhayan ng lahat ng Pilipino. This positive trajectory in reducing poverty and hunger underscores the impact of our targeted policies aimed at enhancing economic stability and providing necessary support to the most vulnerable sectors. The decrease in the number of families who consider themselves food poor from 42% to 37% further attests to the success of our food security programs. Together with the Marcos administration, our collective efforts in the House of Representatives to control inflation and increase household income are bearing fruit. These improvements in self-rated poverty and hunger are more than statistics, as they represent real gains in the everyday lives of our kababayans. Each percentage point decrease reflects thousands of families who now have better access to necessities and a more hopeful outlook on the future. While we celebrate these achievements, we also acknowledge that much work still needs to be done. We will continue to strengthen our social programs, enhance economic opportunities, and ensure that the growth we are fostering is felt by every Filipino family across our nation. Healthcare, educational, and digital infrastructure. In the House of Representatives, our development agenda initiatives are quite expansive. We target pivotal areas such as healthcare, education, and digital infrastructure. In healthcare, we are committed to expanding access and improving the quality of services, making healthcare affordable and accessible to every Filipino. And in education, we aim to create a more liberalized system that not only meets global standards, but also equips our youth with the necessary skills to thrive in a globalized economy. Additionally, we aim to enhance digital infrastructure and ensure that every Filipino can benefit from the digital revolution, bridging digital divides and fostering economic inclusivity. We aim not only to continue our current path, but to accelerate our efforts. We are exploring innovative legislative measures that promote technological advancement and environmental sustainability. These initiatives are designed to ensure that the Philippines not only keeps pace with the global trends, but also sets a benchmark for innovation and responsible governance. We invite all sectors to engage with us. Their insights, expertise, and participation are invaluable as we forge a path forward. Through collaborative efforts, we can build a future that reflects our highest aspirations and fulfills the promise of prosperity and peace for all Filipinos. Oversight through legislative investigations. On the Gentleman's Agreement in the West Philippine Sea, on the issue of the West Philippine Sea, we support President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. in denouncing the secret Gentleman's Agreement between former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte and Chinese President Xi Jinping. But at the same time, in the exercise of our oversight powers, we will direct the appropriate House committees to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation to determine the adverse impact of such agreements on our national interests, particularly our sovereignty, sovereign rights, and territorial integrity. Like President Ferdinand R. Marcos, we are horrified by the idea of compromising the country's rights over the West Philippine Sea. Ayungin Shoal is part of the country's exclusive economic zone, as reaffirmed by the 2016 arbitral ruling on the South China Sea arbitration case. Likewise, under Article 56 of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, the coastal state, which in this case is clearly the Philippines, has the right to build and maintain structures within its exclusive economic zone. This would clearly mean that our country has every right to protect and safeguard all features within our EEZ, including the Ayungin Shoal. Our country's territory, sovereignty, and sovereign rights may have been compromised by a deal guised as an agreement to maintain the peace and status quo in the West Philippine Sea. The so-called Gentleman's Agreement between the former president and China on the non-supply of the BRP Sierra Madre, grounded in Ayungin Shoal in the West Philippine Sea, is tantamount to the surrender of our country's sovereign rights over our exclusive economic zone. We believe that, in the end, upholding our territorial integrity and sovereignty in accordance with our Constitution and with international law is what matters the most. On cybersecurity matters, in recent months, despite employing proper and updated cybersecurity websites of various key government agencies such as the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, the Philippine Statistics Authority, the Department of Science and Technology, the Philippine National Police, the House of Representatives, and Bureau of Customs, among others, were subjected to various forms of cyber attacks, including data breach that may have exposed confidential, sensitive, or protected information. Given the unabated incidence of the cybersecurity threats, it is imperative that we formulate remedial measures with urgency to complement and support the implementation of the National Cybersecurity Plan by the national agencies and instrumentalities, government-owned or controlled corporations and organizations, and local government units. Hence, we will direct the Committee on Information and Communications Technology and the Committee on Public Information to conduct a joint inquiry in aid of legislation on the reported cyber attacks targeting government websites and formulate remedial legislation to improve government countermeasures against cybersecurity threats. Panahon na para labanan ang mga cyber warriors na umatake sa ating mga institusyon. Nandito man sila o nasa labas ng ating bansa, palalaksin natin ang Cybersecurity Command ng ating bansa para masigurong ligtas ang ating mga institusyon at mga mamamayan sa anumang banta. On the prices of rice and other basic goods, through the Committee on Trade and Industry, we also plan to spearhead an investigation in aid of legislation into the widening gap between farm gate and retail prices of rice and other basic goods. The committee should start the ball rolling for an investigation into the disconnect between the farm gate and retail prices of basic goods. The discrepancy between farm gate and retail prices of basic goods is alarming and warrants immediate attention. We cannot ignore the plight of our farmers who are struggling to make ends meet, and nor can we turn a blind eye to the burden placed on our consumers. The farm gate prices of rice, poultry, pork, and even onions have been maintained for the past 3 months, so there should be no spike in the prices of these items. The House should look into the price discrepancy in the exercise of its oversight function to conduct a thorough review of existing laws to protect the interests of both consumers and producers and to deter profiteering. It is imperative that we conduct a comprehensive review of our laws to ensure that they effectively safeguard the interests of our farmers and consumers. We must take proactive measures to prevent profiteering and promote a fair and transparent trading environment. Thus, we urge all stakeholders, including government agencies, industry representatives, and consumer advocacy groups, to actively participate in the investigation and contribute to the formulation of effective policy interventions. We must identify and address loopholes that contribute to profiteering and unfair pricing practices within the supply chain. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure that all stakeholders in whatever industry or sectors are viable. If they are in the business side of it, so that it becomes sustainable, so that we can continue delivering basic goods and services to the consumers at sustainable and affordable prices. Tuloy ang laban natin kontra sa mga hoarders, profiteers at smugglers ng mga agricultural products. Habulin natin ang mga nagsasamantala sa presyo ng mga bilhin. Hindi natin papayagan na ordinaryong Pilipino ang maghihirap dahil sa lamang sa pagkakanid nila sa pera. In conclusion, together, we are making significant strides towards a poverty-free Philippines. Let us continue to support one another and work collectively to build a brighter and more prosperous future for all. Moving forward, let us continue to support President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and work hand in hand towards a future of peace, progress, and prosperity for all Filipinos. In closing, let us be reminded of our collective responsibility and the opportunity at this moment. It is a time for bold actions and steadfast commitment. The House of Representatives of the 19th Congress is fully committed to this cause, ready to enact the necessary legislation that ensures a stable, prosperous Philippines. Thank you for your trust and engagement and your partnership. Let us all commit to a productive legislative session and a brighter future for our nation. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay tayong lahat.